Oh, what's up, motherfuckers? It's me, Tim Gettys, here. Fuck you, Kevin. You know? Fuck you.
Go fuck yourself.
No, it's been
what's up, motherfuckers?
quite the day here. You're not even on camera. People can't even see you.
They don't need to. Remember the?
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Why is it
That was
that
real
though?
nice.
Why is it that?
Here I am to
Here
answer
I am.
all of your questions.
I'm here too.
There you are.
Not
Kevin
to
is
answer
there.
any questions though.
No.
But throw
This
some
is
at
the
me.
Ask Me Anything for April 2017. I'll be answering all of your questions left over at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Having a pretty good day.
Abril 17.
There was a
That's how you
barbecue
would say it in
today.
Spanish.
Do it again?
Abril 17.
What's that mean?
April 17th.
Oh, how do you say ask me anything in Spanish?
So I'm gonna say a little more slangy. Pregúntame lo que sea.
Oh, that sounds
Pregúntame lo
hot.
que sea. I mean,
All right.
ask me whatever you want.
Let's get right in here. Nicholas Price coming through with a dynamite question. He asks, I haven't even read it yet. I just assume. Do you think Crash Team Racing will be released as DLC, or would that be its own project?
It's never coming out.
It won't be DLC. And honestly, I can't imagine that they actually re-release it or remake it. It's already on PSN, on PS3, and the Vita in certain territories. I doubt they'll ever actually remake it. That would be a dream come true for me. If the Crash Insane trilogy does well, I think that might up the chances. But even then, it just seems like a little bit too much of a grasp. Like, the game is amazing, but, you know, Crash is really known for its kind of original trilogy of games. CTR was more for the fans. And people bringing up Crash Bash. Like, I mean, no. They're not going to remake Crash Bash. But CTR, one can hope. I feel like a PSN release on PlayStation 4 is a bit more likely than a full-on remake. And it definitely won't be DLC. That's a totally different engine than the Crash games. It's a totally different system and different type of game. It's not as simple as just porting it up. And also, they've been putting so much love into the remakes. Like, every little trailer they release, I'm just blown away. Like, this seems to be one of the best from the ground up remake, kind of remaster plus, whatever the hell you want to say, of a game I've ever seen. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Patrick Cannon says, hey, Tim, what Switch game announcements are you hoping Nintendo makes at E3? Oh, man. I feel like I've talked about this a million times, and I could talk about it a million more. I'm really hoping that they make a lot of announcements. I feel like it can't just be a trickle of a couple things. I think that they need to at least start laying out the next half year and the next year of the Nintendo Switch. It's been doing great so far. We've been getting the trickle of games, and it's admittedly pretty light. We're getting about the one game a month. What's up, Kev?
It's just it has been light, but I've played 3 games at this point: Zelda, Mr. Shifty, and Snake Pass, and like I've thoroughly I've got like a good amount of time out of each game. And Mr. Shifty is a short game, so that probably only gave me like 5 days of playing, a couple hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been like they have a good catalog so far.
They do. I mean, that's the thing, is it's the quality over quantity thing right now. But with them, it's going to be interesting to see from a AAA space how much they can keep up this one game per month ish average. And then the indies are going to need to come. But yeah, the lack of third-party support is an issue if that's something that you care about. But again, I always make the argument, if you care about that stuff, you should have another console. Like, why would you want to play those games on the Switch? It just doesn't make sense to me. So go back to the question, E3, I'm hoping we get the Metroid announcement. Like, I feel like, you know what? Let me take that back. Retro. We need the retro announcement. I want to see what they're doing, whether it's a new IP or the Metroid Prime reboot or sequel that we all want. I'm hoping we see that there. I hope there's an announcement of the Smash Bros. Port, like a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe style thing where it's the definitive edition of the Wii U and 3DS Smash Bros. Game. A Pokemon Stars announcement would be great. We're getting into a lot of port territory, but I feel like Nintendo's in a weird place where this first year is going to be a lot of ports, and we already know we got Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild. There's not that. I mean, Nintendo has a pantheon of established IP, intellectual properties. They definitely range in terms of their size and scope and their level of AAA-ness, right? So you have the big ones like the Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, but then there's all the other weirder ones, the Mario Kart, Smash Bros, Animal Crossing, and all of them have their own place that make sense in their own way. Animal Crossing and Pokemon are examples of not exactly system sellers, but for as many systems sold, they're probably going to sell a good percentage of that number of that copy of game because so many people buy it. The adoption rate's so high. So once we get beyond the Zelda and Mario, the brand new big full adventure Zelda and Mario games this year, I don't know what else they can do. I feel for the core gamer, Metroid is the answer, but historically, Metroid games haven't sold too well. So it's time for Metroid to come back. And I think that people will hopefully be hungry enough for it that it'll be a success. But in terms of E3 announcements, I don't know. I hope that there's just a lot of them, and I hope Nintendo surprises me and doesn't let me down. And honestly, I'm going into it like hoping for the best, but expecting to be let down because that's what they've kind of done for the last couple of years. And even with the Switch, when it comes to the presentation so far, it's been a mixed bag of the indie presentation was so good, but then their first real reveal of the Switch was so bad. So somewhere in the middle there. Let's aim for it. Christopher J. Brennan says, "Hey, Tim, I've been trying to wrap my head around this trend of releasing these incremental console upgrades, i.e. PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox Scorpio. What's the point of these upgrades, especially Scorpio? It is 4 times as powerful as Xbox One, but to what end? Developers aren't allowed to make games that take full advantage of the extra power because they need to develop the lowest common denominator, base consoles. It just seems like a huge waste of specs and makes the upgrade seem pointless. Microsoft has stated that they believe the traditional console generation cycle as we know it is dead, and they'll continue to make sure all future games work on all consoles. So does this mean we'll never get games that take full advantage of newer hardware and that developers will always be restricted by older hardware? Do you think we'll ever see a PS5 and or Xbox 2, or we will continue to get these pointless smartphone style updates? P.S. I'd like to give a shout out to my boy Josiah, who also watches your content. Shout out to Josiah. This is an interesting thing. So I have my PlayStation 4 Pro. Big fan of it. I'm a tech guy. I like my TV, and that doesn't mean I'm a tech expert. I am a tech enthusiast, I would say. I have a beautiful 4K OLED TV, and my PS4 creates a beautiful HDR image on it when you're playing the appropriate games. Horizon, Ratchet and Clank, they are breathtakingly gorgeous looking at them on the PlayStation 4 Pro with that TV. Having said that, those games are gorgeous on a PS4 on a 1080p TV as well. We're at a point where I don't necessarily think we just need more and more and more teraflops and graphics and all this stuff. It is getting to a place where it's an optional upgrade if you are somebody that cares about that stuff. Xbox obviously is in a place that they're playing catch up a bit, and I think that having big announcements and headlines that can say the strongest console, that will sell. When people go into GameStops and the marketing all over is the most powerful system, like that will entice people that were like considering. And like, if you're not hardcore and super into it, like having exclusive games on the PlayStation 4 might not necessarily push you when you hear that, oh, but the AAA third-party games that you know and love are going to be better on the Xbox. Like, think of the millions and millions of people that mainly only play Call of Duty and Madden and Assassin's Creed. They could be enticed to convert to the Scorpio, or if they're jumping in for the first time this generation, to look at that and be like, I'm going to go there. I definitely think we'll see a PS5. Will we see an Xbox 2? I don't know. I feel like the market will have to dictate what we end up getting, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do commit to the Scorpio thing, if it's enough of a success, and that is kind of their Xbox platform, and that Sony then comes out with a PS5 that is a little closer to the Scorpio, and that will be where we're at. That'll be the next generation. I'm not so upset about it, because as long as we have the ability to play the games, and the thing that I don't want to happen is for us to move console generations so quickly that there's never enough systems in a house that developers want to invest in making huge games for them. That's a problem the Switch is facing right now, where why would a third party want to be there when there's not an install base big enough to buy the game. You're limiting the sales by a fraction going into it. So I think that this is going to help overall have more games be of a higher quality. What you're saying about the lowest common denominator, absolutely true. It's a thing PC games have been facing for years. However, PC games on a high end look great, and most games are developed with that high end in mind and the low end, right? So if you end up not being happy with the experience you're getting on that low end, maybe it'll be time for you to upgrade. But I think the majority of people out there aren't even going to really notice. Cassidy Coyote says, I've asked this before in a Q&A, but I thought I'd bring it up again. What would you say was the last 2D AAA game? 2D in terms of both graphics, gameplay, e.g. not something like Ori, but something like Super Mario World. It's so hard for me to look back on old school games and see what would have been considered AAA at the time, so I thought it'd be an interesting debate. I don't know. I mean, AAA, it does get hard because there's like the Mega Man X games jump to mind. They were even on the PlayStation and Saturn generation. And if a Mega Man game's not AAA back then, I'm not really sure what would be. I'm trying to think if there's anything since then. Because, yeah, most of the games that come out nowadays that we would think, like the Hotline Miamis and stuff, those are indies, not necessarily, they're not AAA. AAA 2D game. It's a semantic question because, 2D games have existed forever. But the last AAA one, I mean, I would say the Mega Man X games on those systems. But if Yoshi's Island came out so late in the game on Super Nintendo, but I mean, you don't get much more AAA in the Nintendo space than Mario. So, yeah, I don't know. Somewhere around there. Andrew Christensen says, hi, Tim. Your moniker since the beginning of Kind of Funny has been Let Tim Host. Now, 115 episodes into the Kind of Funny Games cast, what has been the greatest obstacle you've had to overcome in order to become the awesome host that you are today? Thank you. What are the most important lessons you have learned along the way? Keep up the phenomenal work. # sweet nasty love for my wife and myself. Love to you guys as well. I don't know. It's a hard question. I mean, what is the most important lessons and obstacles? The biggest obstacle for me has always been I have my own vibe and I have my own interests and kind of corner of video games and expertise that I have that does not line up with Greg Miller and Colin. And I think the biggest obstacle I've ever had is that people want me to be Colin and Greg, and I'm not, and I never will be, and I never was. And so when we would talk about things, I am a bit more just excited about things. And that's not to say that I'm just positive about everything and I just will not be critical, because I'm very critical of things. In fact, I would say that I'm more critical of a lot of things than even Greg or Colin are sometimes, depending on what it is. Because I feel like I just have a higher standard of things being amazing. Having said that, when you're talking on podcasts and stuff, a lot of times you speak in hyperbole. So me saying, oh, that's fucking awesome, is not necessarily equivalent to, oh, it's 10 out of 10. It's just talking about the experience I had at the time. So I think the obstacle for me has just been getting over people's expectations of what I'm doing and what it's supposed to be. But I mean, I just keep doing it. It's been working out. So I think it's only going to get better from here on out. Morgan K says, hey, Big Sexy. I was listening to older Game Over Greggy episodes, specifically episode 22. In it, you mentioned your Peruvian friend that had a rat named Pepe that would bring presents, etc.
No, that's the Peruvian Raton Perez was his
Raton
name.
Perez.
It was our Tooth Fairy.
It didn't put together that his friend was Big Kev Dog himself until I re-listened to this episode. Man, that episode cracks me up. Anyways, just wanted clarification that you were in fact talking about Kev, and I'd love to hear his side of it. Keep it tight. Well, there was his side of it, and yes, I was talking about Kevin. Israel Candago says, hey, Tim. Hope you're having a good weekend. I did. Mid-March came along, and I was finally able to get a PSVR. Don't play daily, but appreciate it for what it is. Whether gaming or not, it's all pretty dope. My question for you, What Nintendo IP would be good in VR? I haven't played a Pokemon game on handheld since Gold unless you count Pokemon Go. I think Pokemon Snap or Pokemon Stadium type of game would be a really fun experience. Nintendo VR. I feel like Mario Kart would be really cool. Because the thing with VR is you need to think of an experience where you can be in a seat. You need to be like stationary and the things around you are moving because you can't be mobile. What?
That's crazy. Nintendo,
Mario Kart?
Mario Kart, there'd be so much happening.
There would be so much happening, but imagine seeing the blue shell, the fear
that's awesome,
that would be around you, just having the thing above you, or a red shell coming from behind and actually having to look back to see things coming at you. That'd be pretty cool. I think that's my final answer.
Damn, final.
Duck Hunt would be dope too, but that's easy. Jason Bond says, "Hey Tim, do you think Nintendo might release a dock for the Switch that has actual performance-enhancing hardware inside? Personally, I'd prefer this over a new upgraded tablet portion of the console." No, I don't think so. I think that kind of defeats the purpose of Nintendo's whole thing. I think that we will see a portable-only Switch in the future because that makes sense for Nintendo and their kind of
their 2D
ideology. Like the 2DS? Yeah. It's like, we had the 3DS. No one would have thought that they'd get rid of that. Like the 3D marketing angle of it.
Why did they have to make it so flat? I didn't like that part.
It was aimed at kids. Like it was aimed at kids being able to like.
Did they hit their
target?
target?
It being more of a toy than anything. Huh?
Did they hit their target?
They nailed it. I mean, the 2DS sold super well. So I do think that we'll see that eventually. And I think that's going to significantly boost Switch sales numbers a couple years in. Alexander Gates says, "Is there a game or game series that you wish you had an interest in playing, but you simply don't?" What I mean by that is, do you wish you could be part of the conversation when people talk about Mass Effect or Fallout? I don't believe you've played either of those, and I just wonder if you wish you had. Dark Souls is the immediate answer for me. I really wish that I got those games more than I do. I've given them shots, and it's just I just can't wrap my head around it, and like I'm just not good at games. So those things just kick my ass, and it goes from being fun trying to not fun quickly.
For how much you play, I think you're good at Smash.
I'm pretty good at Smash, but like with my friends, I'm pretty good. When you get to that pro level, you get fucked.
I feel like Hunter is really good at Smash, and I feel like you can hold your own, not beat him.
Not beat Hunter?
Yeah.
I've only lost to Hunter once, Kevin.
How many times have you played him? Though?
Like 6.
Okay. How many times you beat that Sean Finnegan kid?
Sean Finnegan, I beat him a lot, but he beats me sometimes too. Andre Lima Aruja says, "Hey Tim, now that you guys have an editor, ever thought of doing some list videos?" Oh my God, yes.
I've been begging for this.
I know they're hard to craft, but you guys, and you specifically, seem to be made for that type of content. Even though I do prefer your stuff to channels that only do list videos, I'd love to see you try some. And if not a new series, what about some top 10 videos of moments and jokes from previous Gamecast, morning show, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, just shooting some ideas. Love what you do. Keep fucking that sweet, nasty chicken. Me doing list videos has to happen at some point. The problem is, you're right. They do take a lot of time. And right now we're at a point, especially with Colin leaving, and with Kind of Funny Live 3 coming up, where we are at a reformation period of what Kind of Funny is from a content-wide perspective. Having to figure out the PS I Love You situation, having to figure out what our new Let's Plays look like now that we have Andy and all that. I think that we got to get the foundation solid. We have Kevin working for us. We have Andy. We have Joey. We need to really think about what is Kind of Funny for the future, so that one day we can get to a point that maybe we have enough people doing all the behind the scenes stuff that I don't need to worry about the foundation stuff, that I can do that. Until then, I don't think that it's going to happen. We've been doing videos for GameStop, where if you go to GameStop stores, you can see us on the screen. And I've been kind of using that as a way to get list videos out there. We want to start putting them on the channel as well. We did one recently, or not recently, it was a couple months back now. This was before the Switch was formally unveiled. But you should check it out. It's on our Kind of Funny Games channel. I don't remember what the title was, but it was cool. Switch, some on Nintendo Switch.
I really wanted us to do list videos just because you're really good at them.
Thank you.
In a way, and I fucking passionately enjoy watching list videos. You know, like Mojo and Looper and
Yep.
yeah.
They're
But
great.
I mean, I love like Screen Rant too. Like those are actually good. The Mojo and Looper are a little bit.
They're just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think Andy's our guy to be editing those.
Yeah.
But you know,
I don't know. I think he'd be great at it.
I think he'd be great at it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I think he'd do a bad job. I just think that like he'd serve a greater purpose doing
Let's Plays.
not even just let's plays and maybe social videos and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
for sure.
I think that someday, maybe within like, I could see like a year away from having some like trying to make a list
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, again, it's just, it requires a lot of time,
It
but
does.
some of the work I'm most proud of that I've ever done is the What to Watch series on IGN. So if you want to see an example of list videos that I'd like to make, go on YouTube, go to the IGN channel, or just type in the search bar IGN What to Watch. I did about 10 of those videos, and I'm very proud of them. They're obviously, IGN is a different place than Kind of Funny, so there was some choices where I had to like be diplomatic and like I couldn't swear, and a lot of the jokes I made were a little bit more PG than the things I would do here. But I think they're a good example of the style that I would want to do. Let's see what we got going on here. Jack Reynolds says, "Hey, Tim, you fucking legend. I know this isn't really your thing, but what are your predictions for the new Ken Levine studio Ghost Story games? If you can't answer that one, I'd like to know how you see yourself in 5 years within the games industry. Cheers, bud. You guys keep fucking that chicken." Ken Levine, I'm really excited. I'm hoping that we'll get something that is Bioshock-esque in terms of storytelling, but maybe a bit smaller of a project. Like, I would love to see like a Gone Home style game from Ken Levine, because he is a brilliant mastermind. And I think that a super tight 3-hour experience from him would be like Journey, you know, like something that's short and sweet and memorable as all shit. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I don't know. I hope Kind of Funny's doing some really cool, crazy shit. I'm hoping I'm making list videos. Probably won't be, though. Maybe one day.
I think you will.
Within 5 years, I think I will, too. Adam Stewart says, "Hey, Tim. First off, mad love and appreciation for everything you do." Thanks, Adam. My question is, how extensive do you think the Nintendo Switch Virtual Console could grow to be? The Wii was my first Nintendo console I got when I was 8 or 9. Wow. But the only real game I even remember playing and loving was the first Mario Galaxy, since I was mainly a PlayStation kid. Now that I'm 19 going on 20 and cautiously took a chance on the Switch, I couldn't be happier. Breath of the Wild is my first Zelda game, and I'd be stoked if Nintendo could bring back the big hits and other games I've missed from the past years. Thanks again for all you do, and know I'm sending some sweet, nasty love for my new home in Hyrule. Thank you very much for the love. Dude, the Virtual Console, they better not fuck this up. They did such a good job retroactively with the Wii. Like, looking back at it now, the library that they had was fucking extensive. They essentially had everything you could ever want. Wii U, they dropped the ball entirely. It was really bad. Why is there so many games missing? And why are there games on the Wii that aren't on the Wii U? Didn't make sense, and it was dumb. I hope that the Switch doesn't trickle too slowly. Whenever the Virtual Console comes out, I hope that... I understand not wanting to release everything at once. It's not good marketing. But do it in waves, you know? Like, maybe have a NES wave that is, all right, here's the Mario NES titles and Zelda NES and Metroid, and then a Super Nintendo wave where it's Super Metroid, Link to the Past, and Mario World, and like kind of create events around that, but get them out. Got to get at least all the main hits out within the year of Virtual Console releasing, if not sooner than that, because we've played these games so many times before. We've been able to buy these games so many times before that with the Switch, people want the games now. So have a steady flurry week to week. Every Thursday when Nintendo releases stuff on the eShop, you need to have games. And I want them to come out swinging with it. I want the first 3 Mario games to be out within a month. Don't make me wait a year. Thank you. RJ Davis says, "Hey, Tim. When I was a kid, my sister was obsessed with the Spice Girls. And she wouldn't play it in the living room when I'd be playing Crash. And she would play it in the living room when I'd be playing Crash 1. And now whenever I hear any of the first album, I think of Crash. Also, when Smash Bros. First came out, my friend and I would listen to Hybrid Theory while playing the game. Do you ever listen to music while you play games, or does music elicit memories of playing games? Thanks. See you at KFL 3. I'll see you there, RJ. I don't listen to music while playing games. I think that a game's sound effects and music are just as important as any other element of it. And I really like the experience that the developers have created there. And I also appreciate music too much to kind of, I can't multitask with that type of stuff. I like to go all in on either side. So yeah, I don't think so. Although for some reason playing Twisted Metal 2 and Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On are intrinsically tied in my brain.
That's really weird.
It is weird, but
Is
my
there
cousin,
a tie?
my cousin, I had one male cousin, one female cousin. I was playing with Twisted Metal with my male cousin, and my female was listening to Heart Will Go On. And
anytime you talk about your cousins, I'm always like, oh, I don't know if I know them.
yeah, you don't.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Known you your whole life, don't know your cousins.
Yeah, I barely know. It's all good.
I know you, though.
Kevin Dunkel says, hey, Tim, did any of you guys really regret leaving IGN, or were you guys just excited to start this new adventure and really didn't think about it? Oh, my God. Regret leaving IGN. That's insane. Like, from the moment we started Kind of Funny, I was like, I can't believe that this is my life. Like, there is nothing to regret about leaving IGN. I fucking love them. I owe them so much. I had an amazing time there, and I could have stayed there forever and been happy and been doing crazy cool shit. But nothing compares to this. This is so cool that we can just do anything that we want. And as long as we believe in it, there'll be someone else that will believe out there. And the positivity that we get and the feedback of people actually wanting to like the content we make is a stark contrast to at IGN, where you try so hard to please people, and no matter what, you're going to upset more people than anything. So
I knew from you being like, hey, Greg wants me to come over to his house and help him film something. And I was like, dude, fucking take me with you, please. And you're like, no, it's going to be too many people. It's like, take me with you, please. You're like, dude, you work at a bioscience place. There's nothing you can do for us. Prove that wrong, huh, Tim?
yeah, here you are. Now you're just a big head on a TV. Sean Bisante says, I don't know if you've answered this before, so sorry if you have, but what are your top 3 Final Fantasy games? They don't have to be mainline titles. Mine are 6, Tactics, and 9. I'm gonna stick 2 mainline titles.
Whoa.
Just because there's too many spin-offs and stuff, but I count X2 as a mainline, by the way. I would probably say X76, or so 1076. There's something about Final Fantasy X that like makes it less of a Roman numeral and more of a name. But it's Final Fantasy 10. Yeah, 10, 7, and 6. Nicole Humphrey says, Tim, unlike Greg, you do not have a journalism degree and reviewing background. So do you feel this was a hindrance to your ability to discuss and critique games when Kind of Funny began? If so, how'd you overcome it? This kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I don't think it's a hindrance at all. I think that I am good at explaining my opinion and what I think about things. I just don't have that level of scrutiny that other people do, but I think I have a different level of scrutiny. It's just, especially with IGN, like they are trained to review games a certain way, and I'm kind of happy that I don't have that kind of framework behind my decisions. Like I've never had to play a game and give it a score that I didn't want to play. Anytime I've played a game, it's because I had an interest in playing it. That's not to say it was good, but there was something keeping me playing. Or if I stopped playing, there's my review. I didn't like it, right? I feel like that I enjoy it, and I definitely don't think it's been a hindrance. But it has been a hindrance in the way that I get compared to Greg and Colin, who are very different in that regard, especially Colin. John BX32 says, what's up, Tim? You guys have been killing it lately. Thank you. The Gamescast has been fantastic, and I'm loving the guests you guys are bringing in. It's been asked a bunch of time, but who are some people that you would love to have on the show that haven't been on before? And you should do an exclusive with Andy about his gaming history. Like all of you guys have done in the past. We just did that. That will be the...
Wait, no, I think that's different, because what we just did, the exclusive, was, which is coming out this Sunday.
Yeah.
Before this, I guess the day after this video. So tomorrow. It's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna get what you want.
That was his journey in the gaming industry.
So he says, do it like you guys have done in the past. I did the exact same line of questioning where I was just like, what was your first console? How did you get to that? Well,
cool, there it is.
Yeah, so we totally did it. So, and it was fun. And man, me and Andy share so many similarities with our gaming history. It's fun. But yeah, get hyped about that. Guess that I want on Gamescast. This is the last question, by the way. There's so many. I really want to do a show with Kyle Bossman from Easy Allies. Elise Willems from Funhouse. Although I'd probably rather her on Game Over Greggy. She's so funny. A lot of the ones that I've wanted, we've been getting recently, like, or are going to happen soon, like Marty Sleva. We've never done a Gamescast with him, but he's going to be here sometime in the next month. Yeah, I don't know. I'll leave it there. I feel like I'm missing a whole bunch of people, but it's okay. That's just how things work. Anyways, thank you guys so much for your Patreon support. It means the world to me and to Kinda Funny, and especially to Kevin.
Yep.
We'll see you next month. Until then.